You are now listening to Talk Your Jits podcast.
Welcome back to the Talk Your Jits podcast. This podcast is, as the name implies, all about jiu-jitsu. I'm your host, Lamar Smith, and today's guest is a four-stripe white belt who trains at 417 BJJ, located in Springfield, Missouri. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Carpenter.
Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Man, the pleasure is all mine. How you doing today?
Doing good, man. How are you?
Pretty good, man. Finally back on track with doing some episodes, so always excited time to talk about jiu-jitsu.
Always.
All right, man. So let's get the ball rolling, man. If you want to formally introduce yourself again, by all means, and let's hear about your jiu-jitsu journey.
Yeah. Of course, my name is Chris Carpenter. Originally, I grew up in New York, and then I moved out here to Missouri a couple years ago. So really, my jiu-jitsu journey started. Really, it kind of started in wrestling. I wrestled in middle school, and then I wrestled again in my senior year of high school. And then that really just got me interested in grappling. Just kind of made me fall in love with it. And then back in 2019, like around like August or September or so, my best friend and I, Julio, we both started at a gym up in New York. And then I did that for a couple months, probably like 3 months or so. Mm-hmm. And then I ended up moving away. Once I moved down here to Missouri, I found another gym that I was there in 2020 for maybe about 3 months or so. And then just I had things come up. Like I had a job that I got a promotion in, so I just didn't have the time anymore to train. And so I ended up moving, long story short, last year in like August or so. I joined up with 417 BJJ, and I've been going steady ever since. Really going like anywhere from 3 to 5 days a week or so. Done a couple of tournaments. I think I've done 5 tournaments so far. Mm-hmm. Won a handful of medals, and then yeah, man, that's just kind of been the journey so far. It's a bunch of learning, getting beat up a lot, and finally starting to beat up some other people, which is nice.
Isn't that like such a wonderful feeling, man, when you get your first tap?
It is, man. It is. It is.
Man, but so I bounced around from school to school. I know that's very difficult. Especially when you get so used to one spot and then boom, you have to uproot and leave. So with this school here, what's been different about this school versus the other schools you've been at?
Man, the vibe at this school is the vibe at all jiu-jitsu schools I've been to have been really good. Like it's just, you're around great people. The biggest thing I liked about my school here is we have a set white belt curriculum where we have a chart that's posted on the wall where exactly where you're at in your white belt game and then where you need to go.
Okay.
We have like numerous columns of different flows, and from one position to another, all the way from standing up and your takedowns, all the way throughout pretty much most of your basic positions, giving us 2 or 3 ways to get through each position. So I really enjoyed just having a set goal in front of me and a set curriculum, to know kind of where I'm at in my game, what I need to work on, and where I'm going. Besides that, my coach is awesome. He's just a really good dude. He's very active in the community. He gives back a lot, and he really just enjoys seeing people get better. So actually, when I started jiu-jitsu, I was roughly around 330, I was 330, 335. And for me, it was just a big weight loss thing and just trying to get my health back in order. Mm-hmm. And they were super supportive, from day one. Obviously, walking in at 300 plus pounds, you're just completely out of shape. And grappling is it's a cardio dominant sport.
Yeah.
So they were just really supportive of me throughout my whole journey, and they just kind of been there for me.
That's what's up. That's cool though. They have that, that visual guide to kind of give you an idea on where you go, where you're at. You don't have to play no guessing games and, bugging your coach acts like, am I doing good? Am I progressing so far? Yeah. So you kind of have that, you can answer that question yourself.
Yeah.
And to touch on what you were talking about, with jiu-jitsu being a huge cardio workout, you're moving a lot. It's a lot of learning your body again, and I can agree to that. Like that, it helps you lose weight like quick. And I try to get people who ask me like, oh man, what you doing, man? I'm like, I train, I do jujitsu and blah blah blah. And they sound so interesting. I'm like, yeah, you should come try it out. And the first thing is like, oh man, I want to lose a little weight first. I was like, nah, you lose that weight. just come on in and give it a couple months. I bet you that weight will fall off so quick. So quick.
And I don't know. I wonder what that is, and why people do want to lose weight or get in shape before they come in. I don't know if it's more of an ego thing, and they feel
I think it is.
Like they feel like they need to be at a certain level before they even walk in.
Mm-hmm. Or have a certain look about themselves before they start. I'm like,
yeah,
no one's coming to see that.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I think it's just like the depiction of like when you see like competitors or UFC fighters, everyone is like strict cut and muscles on top of muscles, and people just get that perception like, okay, this is what I gotta look like to be successful in the gym. No, it's the complete opposite. Complete opposite. So
it's also great for those people to get in the gym as well and kind of have that ego death a little bit, where they get in there and they realize, size doesn't matter, where the 135-pound female purple belt is going to tap you repeatedly. You have to get over that fact and leave your ego at the door.
That's something I tell any and everybody that walks into the gym for the first time. I'm like, everyone has an ego, but you want to have to check it as soon as you walk through that door.
Absolutely.
Because you will get humbled.
real quick,
and it's more likely gonna be by the person you will least expect it.
Yep.
And I'm like, you're gonna miss out on an opportunity because of that.
Yep.
And you come in, you want to be, you don't want to get tapped, you don't want to be, beat up by someone, smaller or smaller than you. So you're gonna try to do whatever you can to win. You can't win at practice.
Yeah.
Like, take your lumps, take your whoopings, be happy, and keep it moving.
And I feel like, I kind of lost my train of thought a little bit, but I feel like that's why I feel like martial arts resonates with people, especially that have been through challenges in their life and been through struggles, because they know how to lose.
Yeah.
So when they come into that environment and they get tapped by higher level people, they understand that those losses are going to come. They're inevitable. They're there, but they know how to deal with them as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And I'm that way too. It's like, I've been training for like, past 6.5 years. I just recently got my black belt in last month. Yeah, last month.
Congratulations, man. That's awesome.
Thank you. So, and it's like, I'm still learning. There's still so much for me to grasp and understand doing jiu-jitsu. And, you have those conversations with people who don't know. They're like, oh man, you got your black belt, you done? No, I just started. Like, you might as well just, tap another white belt on me, because that's what it feels like. You're still learning, you're still evolving, but it seems like you have to do it a lot quicker now because of the rank. And on top of running the school, it's like, oh man, this is a lot to kind of handle, but it's definitely a learning. It's a learning experience, but I'm enjoying it nonetheless.
So has that black belt put a little more pressure on you than what you did have as a brown belt?
I think I put the pressure on myself because I got my black belt, because I've been teaching since I was a blue belt. With the kids class, and then, I would fill in for my instructor every now and then purple brown, I've been kind of like that. Yeah, that assistant instructor. So it was like, it's not nothing I'm not used to. I think it's just now I was like, oh yeah, you're a black belt. And it's like, now really people are listening to what I'm saying, and I got to make sure I don't sound stupid. Yeah, I'm like, it doesn't change because I got a different belt, but like, it's like, yeah, it's just the pressure I put on myself when I got it. Because it's like, oh shit, now I really got to show that I know this stuff.
Yeah.
But it's been fun, man. I love teaching. Like I said, started with kids class, and it just kind of grew from there. And it's like, yep, I wouldn't mind teaching, if this is what I was supposed to do in jiu-jitsu. I don't mind it.
Yeah, teaching's fun as well. And teaching, of course, makes you better at your own game. Because if you can
Mhm.
explain something and teach someone else how to do it, it's just going to make you even better.
Right. Especially especially if you're teaching kids.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you can't do a whole lesson plan like you would for an adult class with a kids class. So you have to take like one technique and break it down for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And in that turn, like, yeah, you're experiencing a lot of other mechanics about whatever the technique is, because you're breaking it down into chunks and not just flowing through the whole thing.
Yep.
So,
and you're really paying attention to the finite details in it.
Yeah.
And being able to, and especially as a teacher, you kind of get to experiment as well. When you're teaching, you're looking over these little minute details. You're picking up one or two things here and there, and then adding that to your game, adding a little, tweak to your game here, whatever it is.
Right. Because we were, because the other day we had a couple of kids that showed up to class, so we were going over triangles, and they, for some odd reason, they couldn't get like the lock. They couldn't like get the pressure right. So I was just like, okay, you ever drove a car or a toy car or like a little, whatever? And they was like, yeah. Or like, go car racing. It's like, yeah. And it's like, okay, how do you get the car to go? And they're like, oh, you press on the gas. I'm like, show me how you do that. So he stood up and stomped down while he's like, trying to press on the gas. I was like, okay, that's what I want you to do. I want you to get, lock your leg up and push down like you're trying to make the car go. Mm-hmm. And he did it. And when it clicked to him, it was so exciting to him. I was a little excited myself. I was like, oh shit, that worked. But yeah,
that's
just like I said,
too.
That's small stuff.
And that's interesting too as well, just like learning kids and learning, not even learning kids, but people, and learning their different learning styles, how people learn, what stuff makes sense to some people, what, some stuff won't. And I feel like that's the biggest challenge in coaching and just teaching in general. It's just finding out how kids learn and kind of catering to everybody's learning style while catering to everybody at the same time.
Yeah, because it's really, because you have to, like you said, you have to deal with the egos, you have to deal with people's self-esteem, you have to deal with people feeling discouraged. So like the first thing I do, I'm like, hey, look, every technique that we're gonna go over, you might not get. Hell, there's techniques I still don't understand how to do.
For sure.
But there's always workarounds, there's always alternatives, so we'll figure that stuff out once once you get to that. I'm like, you just have to understand, body types, if you're bigger, if you're smaller, if you're shorter, if you're taller, if you're wider, if you're narrower, all that stuff changes when working these techniques. I was like, but you will get it. And that helped a lot of people not quit jiu-jitsu because of that concept. Just being very transparent and letting them know, like, hey, even as someone who's been doing it for so long, there's still stuff I still can't do.
Yeah.
So
there's certain stuff that fits into your game. And that's one of the funnest things I found about jiu-jitsu is finding what works for you, finding what fits in your game, and then, how to get better at certain things.
That's the fun part.
Yeah, for real. It's just a bunch of trial and error. For instance, and this is a very white belt thing of me to say, but like right now, I'm not a big fan of taking the back. Just because whenever I'm on the back, my arms get gassed out. And I have trouble controlling my opponent for a longer period of time on the back. So whenever I get to the back, I'll end up just transferring back to a side mount and then to to mount to get back to side control or, just kind of staying mount or whatever, because that's my game. And just learning that, learning your trial and error and learning, watching yourself get better against certain people in certain situations. It's fun. There's just that constant progression that you're going through.
Oh yeah. And you, like, that's something you're going to be dealing with, like, as long as you're doing jiu-jitsu. Because, I have one specific game that I will always try to do. But as time went on, I'm like, man, I got to figure something else out that works for me. So, I've been working like the front face headlock a lot. Actually, like working back control, which is something I usually don't do because the school that I trained at, H2O, it was like all big guys. So I'm like, yeah, I don't want to, I don't want to give a big guy, a reason to, smush me. So we tend to kind of like stay away from like back, from back mount. But learning it now and trying to like really weave it into my game, it's been fun. It's been like the most fun I've had doing jiu-jitsu, is that trial and error, trying to figure out what works for you.
Yeah, figure things out. And the cool thing about being in a gym with your community and your people is like your people will end up learning you and learning your game, and they'll start to add the defenses to your game in their game, which of course will make their game better, and then it'll stop your game from so you get to a certain level where things are working, and then everybody adapts to it, and now boom, things aren't working anymore. Now you have to adapt. Now you're forced in a position where you need to change, where you need to discover other things. And
that's that iron sharpening iron.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because we had this conversation, me and my partner, who also got his black belt, the same, we got our black belts at the same time, and we were like teaching class, and we were explaining to him, like, you guys that's coming up under us have so much of an advantage as we than we did when we was coming up in jiu-jitsu, because when I was coming up, we just had the upper belts was my instructor and another good friend of ours was the top belts in the class. Now with them, they got me as a black belt, my training partner is a black belt, another purple belt, a couple other blue belts, and so on and so forth. So it was like, you guys are like eons ahead of us, Because I'm like, if I was to go back to my white or blue belt self now with you guys, I will get smoked instantly.
Yeah.
Because like, yeah, we'll roll. I hit somebody with something, and immediately I'm like, all right, let me show you how I caught you with that. This is what I did. This is how you got caught. Blah 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 blah. And then, like you said, they learn from their mistakes and learn what you're doing. You have no choice but to try to step your own game up itself. So, yeah.
And that's where that jiu-jitsu gets deeper, and then it gets a lot more fun. It gets a lot more fun for both parties. Let's say you have, like, for instance, I have a black belt in my gym that, forever he was just completely smoking me, and he still smokes me every time we roll. Don't get me wrong, but I've like for instance, like when I'm in top half guard, I know he's going to be hunting Kimuras, so it's made me adapt my game to really keep my elbows in and stay focused on keeping my elbows in to negate that. And then now we're down to the next layer of jiu-jitsu, where now he has to add in a different layer to combat that and work against me, and then I have to add in another layer to figure out what's next on how to attack him. And just that constant unpeeling of like all the layers is just what's so fun and addicting about it, I feel, because you're always learning. You can't. There's no end to it.
No.
That's
no.
I don't know. It's the most attractive thing in jiu-jitsu for me, I feel.
Oh yeah, because I think like one of the last times me and my instructor rode, I came so close. I think this is like the closest I've ever gotten to submitting him. Obviously got out and choked me out, but it was just like that small little moment where it was like, oh snap, I beat something in his game and almost got a submission, and I was so excited about that, after waking up. But we get those moments. Like you get those moments where you're like, oh man, I'm so close to getting something on the upper belt, and it's like you notice they have to adjust and whatnot, and it's like, man, it's like I see that now. It's like, oh, that makes me so much better. But you already know he saw that too, so he has to change that up. So it's like that next time it's not going to be that easy.
Oh, for sure. It's such a fun game, man.
It's such a fun thing, man. It's always evolving. That's what I love about jiu-jitsu. Like every single day, it's just evolving.
For sure.
Especially when you get new bodies walking into school, or somebody come to you like, man, I saw this video on online and I want to try it. And it's like, okay, you get to the point where you're actually like, you're trying it and you're trying to adapt that into what you actually, what your abilities already are. Yep. So yeah, man, it's so fun. So jiu-jitsu is so fun.
It's so fun. Man, it's a beautiful game.
Really so when did you realize it just like jiu-jitsu like consumed your life?
Oh man, it was really during my last, because I went to 3 different gyms, and my first 2 were only for a couple of months, so I wasn't able to really dive that deep. But once I got to this gym, I was going through a pretty bad breakup with my ex as well. And so that was just my positive outlet to where I can go, forget about the world, forget about all your problems, and just do something productive for yourself. And so when I really started to, when I knew that jiu-jitsu was a number one proponent to having better health and just physical health and mental health, is really when I started to like buy into it and really just start to go a ton. Once I started, I was getting my diet better. I was eating a lot better, and then I was just shedding weight, and I was doing a lot better mentally. And that's just kind of when I allowed it to take over my life. And now it's, so it's all you think about, really.
Man, that's it. Like that's all. I think for me is when I think was I a blue belt? I think I just I was a blue belt, and one of the I'm still a white belt. And one of the new guys that came in, his guy's name is Nick. Wrist locks. He will find a wrist lock everywhere, and I hated that so much. So he became my rival, like at the gym, and it got to the point, I guess, with his work schedule, he couldn't make his afternoon classes, so my instructor started a morning class. So I was like, oh, I'm not getting up at no 6 in the morning, no 5, 6 in the morning, jiu-jitsu. Forget all that. So we were talking one day. He's like, oh yeah, man, just let you know, man, Nick has been coming to morning classes. Just usually be me and him. So I'm like, all right, okay. He's like, yeah, roll with him now. Roll with him, and I was like, yeah, you're not about to get no extra time, bro. So I started going in the mornings. So I started going in the mornings, and then it went from going to 3 days a week to 4 days a week to like, almost every, no matter what I was doing, is always like jiu-jitsu related. And I was like, this is it. This is my life now. This is my life now. Bro.
And now it really is, because you made it your career, and that's what you do full time, which is awesome.
Yeah, man. It's weird how that worked out, because unfortunately we had to shut our school down and whatnot. So it just like we were looking for places to go. A lot of people who, they don't want like new tenants. They want people who have experience written on buildings and stuff. So it was like, man, this sucks. Met a guy named Kurt, awesome guy. Messaged him like, hey, dude, I would like if we can, start teaching jiu-jitsu at your place if you have available days, blah, blah. And he was like, man, it just so happened that I was about to cancel, I was about to end our grappling classes. So, me and him sat down, we talked, and then, I did like a little private, little seminar at the school to kind of, so he can get us feeling idea on how we are with jiu-jitsu. And I did the seminar, and I'm like, okay, do anybody got any questions? And the room got quiet. I was so freaking nervous. I'm like, all right. And then somebody was like, so you teaching here now? I was like, yeah, we working some stuff out. Like, oh man, I can't wait for your class. And then, yeah, so we've been there since October and whatnot. And then, like I said, the new spot that I opened up with one of our other instructors he does like kickboxing, boxing, partnered up with this guy, and they opened like this martial arts super center type place. They got like, boxing, kickboxing, wrestling, now jiu-jitsu, and everything else like that. So I partnered with them to teach over there as well. And then awesome. I've been doing this podcast for like a year. So I was like, yeah, this is succumb my life to the fullest.
That's awesome. Yeah, it takes over for sure.
Man, yeah. And it happens so gradually, but then once you like finally like realize it, it just takes off.
Yeah, for real. For real.
Like from like the t-shirts to the your apparel, what your your Instagram, and like your feed is now just all techniques, food and techniques.
For real. Yeah, I catch myself. I mean, yeah, you catch yourself a lot, man. Just scrolling TikTok, scrolling Facebook, whatever, just watching jiu-jitsu, watching little matches, watching clips of moves, and Yeah, it takes over.
Man,
It takes over.
it takes over. So, but I guess it's a good thing, man. It just shows that the level of commitment you have to this something that you love.
Yeah.
It's awesome that you've learned to love it so early in your career. But it's one of those things where it's like I'm like, damn, man, where was I? Well, how did I survive without jujitsu?
Right.
like man, because I'm like, what happened? Like, where were you at 20 years ago?
Yeah, it's crazy,
yeah.
man. It's wild. I mean, no matter what, your life's gonna get taken over by something, whether
Yeah,
it's positive or negative. You could either get taken over by going to work, coming home and watching Netflix all the time in your free time, and that's it. That's your life, and that's what takes over. Or you can, go to work, whatever, and do jujitsu, and that's what takes over your life. It's really just up to
That's what I picked.
Yeah, same.
Because even now, man, like I had surgery a couple weeks ago, and I wasn't able to train for like 2 weeks. Dude, that was by far the worst 2 weeks in the world.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm like, man, all I could do was just sit. They's like, you just make sure you get some rest and blah 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 blah. I was like, that's gonna be so hard. That's so hard. I'm like, I do this every day, like Tuesday through Saturdays, like just all jujitsu. It's like going from doing that to like absolutely nothing. I was like, nah.
Yeah, like
nah.
What do I even do?
Like, what do you normal people do on a Tuesday night?
If you're not choking your friends out in a padded room.
Right. But yeah, it's been rough, man. So finally, I was cleared to go back. Still a couple restrictions, but I can still teach a little bit. So I'm like, okay, my life is starting to become normal again.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. When you don't go to the gym for a few days or a week or so, how just off you feel.
Man,
you feel like you need that release. It's like it's crazy. It's like a drug.
Yeah, especially with jiu-jitsu, it's like you miss a week, man. It feels like a month.
Yeah, seriously. You get back in there, your body doesn't feel the same. Your gas tank's a little bit different. And then your training partner that's, that you're always going back and forth with, all of a sudden now he's getting you because you're tired. Like, yeah, I feel like you're always in jiu-jitsu, you're always catching up, and you can't slack too much because like you're just gonna like fall too far behind.
Smoke instantly.
For real.
It's like my powers.
Seriously.
All right. So earlier you mentioned you competed in jiu-jitsu. You competed a lot. So how was your first tournament like? What was your first tournament like?
Oh man, my first tournament. It was like 2 or 3 months after I started at my new gym, so I was maybe 4 or 5 months in total. But I'd only been in the gym consistently for about, like I said, about 2 or 3 months. I went there. I went 0-4. I got choked out 4 times. But honestly, it was one of the best experiences. My biggest thing about that tournament was just trying to get out there, and I hadn't competed like that since high school wrestling, and so I just wanted to get out there and compete. And I knew it was kind of too early for me to go and compete, but I really didn't care. But yeah, that first tournament was just such a big learning curve for me, and it was a big learning experience. I faced 2 guys. They were both four-stripe white belts at the time. One of them's already got his blue belt, and the other one actually just took second in nationals over this past weekend in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Okay. So I faced 2 really good guys, and yeah, they washed me. They absolutely washed me. But it was a great experience. I feel like I learned more from that tournament where I went 0-4 than I did the tournaments I won gold in. Yeah, man, it was a good time. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Yeah, I kind of wish that I started competing earlier, because I don't know, for some odd reason I just swore it off. I was like, yeah, I like jiu-jitsu, but I don't care about competing. I did my first tournament in as a purple belt. I did a tournament. I got washed. but but the guy I went against was like he competes like every month. He's a ex-football player and a college wrestler. So this dude was just strong for no reason.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I got, I was like, I think I was like 245, 250-ish. So I was like super, I was ultra heavy. And we tied up. I tried to work to get my underhooks. I couldn't move his arms. And I just noticed like my feet, I started getting lighter and lighter because he was like pushing me. So I was like, okay, this is about to be a long day. This is about to be a short, long day. And then he went for a hip toss because we were like right by the table. So right before he was about to go for the throw, the ref was about to stop us. So I kind of just like laxed my body a little bit to like let go. And the next thing you know, my feet's in the air, hitting the mats. I'm like, oh, this is about to be bad. But after we had our match and we chopped it up and I was talking to his instructor, he's like, dude, he's like, you did a good job. I'm like, well, we watched in the same match. He's like, man, he's a handful. Like he's just he's good. He's he's very, very strong, know how to use his strength very, very well. He's a handful. And he's like, we have struggled with him. We struggled with him at the gym. So I was like, all right, I don't feel so bad about it. But
yeah, that's better.
Yeah, man, it's like once that happened, I was like, yeah, I want to do more. I want to do so many more. So
yeah, it's addictive.
Mm-hmm.
It's addictive. And then for me too, the biggest part about competing, not to cut you off, but the biggest thing that I look forward to in competing is the lead up to it, and kind of like that little fight camp that you put yourself through.
Yeah.
In me, that's just like a big time where I know I have to be very disciplined as far as when it comes to my diet and my training. And so, and that's kind of why I've competed a lot over the last year because it keeps me on track. It keeps me in the gym. If I ever do feel lazy, maybe I don't want to go today, that kind of thing, which really doesn't happen often. But, when you don't want to go, it just kind of gives you an extra push. Like, hey, man, your opponent's probably working today, so he's getting better. Are you getting better? And it's just kind of that little angel on your shoulder that's, just pushing you to be better.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing. It's like the lead up to the tournament is more fun than the actual tournament because, you go in that mindset of like, okay, I'm going against people that, I do not know. So I don't know how much they're training. They could be training right now while I'm sitting here watching TV. and then you get, like you said, you get antsy. You be like, man, I need to go to the gym. I need to go somewhere. I need to go work out. I need to go push myself. So especially like now, I kind of made it a vow for next year to try to compete as much as possible. And I was actually I was going to compete next month, but with me being on the restriction, I'm not going to be able to do it in time. So I think the next one that's coming up is in March. Grappling Industries in March. So I'm like, okay, once I'm really clear to be able to go back to the gym like I want to, that's what I'm gunning for, and it's going down. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for it.
No, that's awesome, man. Good luck in
it. Yeah. Thank you. So, are you your school? Is it more gi or no gi?
We do both.
Okay.
We have. There's really not set nights. We just kind of, and that's the kind of thing I like about my gym as well. Is we're very like relaxed as far as, if somebody gets there late, nobody's bugging out about it. If someone has to leave class early, no one's bugging out about it. So, and as far as that goes, when you come, you kind of, if you want to put your gi on, great. If your training partner's in their gi, you'll throw one on. If not, you just go no gi. It just kind of depends on the vibe of the gym, and what we're working. We usually have a couple in-house tournaments a year. And so whatever in-house tournament is coming up, whether it's gi or no gi, that's kind of what we'll focus on primarily. But yeah, it just really depends on who your training partners are. There's some guys there that only roll in the gi. There's a couple guys there that primarily go no gi if they can, and I'm kind of one of those that definitely prefer no gi.
So am I.
Yeah. Especially as a bigger guy, man. Like I feel like being in the gi just slows me down. Not as far as movement goes, but my opponent can slow me down with their grips, and they have so many more like just handles and ways to stop me. Which I know I need to work on my gi work a lot more, and I do work on my gi work. It's just I much so prefer no gi. It's more like
Yeah.
wrestling. That's what I'm used to, and that's I don't know. It's just it's a different game.
Yeah. And that's kind of what me and my training partner, he's more gi, I'm more no gi, because our school that we grew up in was predominantly gi. So it's like a few and far between times where we'll do a no gi class. And it was like, man, those are so fun. Like I wish we did more of those. So when we started teaching more, me and my partner Brian, we was like, okay, what days you want? I'll obviously take the other days. So I was doing Tuesdays, he was doing Thursdays. So I was like, all right, well, I'll do no gi on Tuesdays and we do no gi on Thursdays. And so we we stuck with that, and then we kind of brought that over to our new school as well. And it's like it works out because we get the best of both worlds, and
Yep.
I'm happy. Like, don't get me wrong, I love rolling in the gi, but yeah, like you said, just something about no gi, man. The freedom, and it's more aggressive, and it's more fast paced than rolling in the gi.
Yep. And I feel like not that you have to be a touch more technical, but also you kind of have to be a touch more technical because you don't have grips where you can just slow somebody down from passing.
Right.
If somebody's in your half guard and no gi and they're passing, they're passing. But if you're in a gi, you might be able to slow them down with, a collar and a sleeve grip and whatever, and start working your game. It's just a completely different animal.
Yeah. I love it though.
Yeah.
It's very fun.
And I've considered
very
competing in just no gi, just because that's just much so what I prefer.
Yeah.
But also I feel like that's just part of it, part of the learning process to get better at the gi, to learn to love it. I don't know. My last tournament, I almost got finished standing with a cross collar choke in the gi, and that wasn't fun. Like, I wasn't a fan of it. The whole time in the match, I was like, man, I wish I could take this thing off. Like,
I know, just
see me without the gi, it's a different match, I promise. But,
right.
But man, but that's just part of that, getting better, leveling up, and finding holes in your game, and finding a reason to go to the gym and work.
Yeah, man. I was like, it just give you an excuse to do more jujitsu.
Yeah, seriously.
It's like, oh man, I gotta work gi and no gi. All right, that's fine. Let's go. Oh, we gotta stay late. All right, that's fine. Let's go.
Oh yeah, no big deal. Whatever.
Man, because I tell you, there be so many times, it's like we have a group chat, like me and a couple of the guys, our instructor, and I'd be texting like, man, y'all wanna go hit the mats, man? It's like 12, like 1, 2 in the morning, like y'all wanna go hit the mats? What y'all do?
For real, it becomes an addiction. I was just thinking today, because we don't have any jiu-jitsu at our gym on Saturday, and I was just thinking while we're doing this, I was like, man, I need to find a gym like in the area to go hit open mat, like as soon as we stop this. And I'm trying to find somewhere to go roll. I want to roll.
I know, man. it gets so bad. It's like okay, I've been training all week. What's one day? You can take one day off. But no, man, like I said, I'll look on Facebook. I don't want to. It gets to the point where it's like I don't want to. Like because I have ADHD so bad, and I don't like sitting still. Mm-hmm. So especially when it's like I'm scrolling TikTok and I see a technique and it's like, okay, that's cool. But you see a technique that suits you, and you like, I need somebody to work with. I need somebody.
You start scheming. Start bringing the kids over, little toddlers. Hey, get in the room real quick. I need to try something.
I've done my wife that way. I'm like, look, I'm sorry, but I gotta try this technique. I gotta try this technique.
Just please tap when you need to, but I'm gonna get you real quick.
Right, just real quick. I just need you like 5 minutes. I need to try this one time. She's been a good sport though, but she actually trains. She kind of took a break, so she'll be back soon, and we getting her ready to test for her blue belt actually. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, she's a little scrapper, but yeah, I'm like, man, you gotta put these mats down, man. We gotta get some work in because I'm bored.
Yeah, for real. You don't need a training dummy when you live in your training department. You know what I mean?
Exactly, man. Exactly.
Yeah.
So
has she allowed it to take over her life as well?
Not yet. She hasn't drunk the Kool-Aid just yet.
She'll get there. It's all good.
Yeah, she'll get there. I think it's like when she was training a little bit more consistent and she was really, really starting to like look into what jiu-jitsu is, it kind of started because I'm like, I'm checking Instagram and she's sending me videos. I'm like, who are you? You don't usually send this type of stuff, but I think when she kind of like get out of her own way about it, I think it'll finally take over, and then that's when fun will start because we'll probably roll more often at home versus waiting to go to the gym.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden your extra bedroom just became a little mat training room.
I know, right? Just get rid of the bed. Just got some. Just get floor mats.
Get rid of it.
I mean, to me, man, the mats are more comfortable than the bed.
Yeah, for real. Throw a little pillow down.
Man,
hit me with an Ezekiel choke real quick. I'll see you in the morning.
I've gotten good naps on the mats, man, voluntarily and involuntarily.
For real.
Oh man.
For real, man.
Good times, man. But Chris. It is. It's such a beautiful. We can talk about that all day. Beautiful, how beautiful jiu-jitsu is. But But Chris, yeah, man, we got a staple here at Talk Your Jits podcast, man. We ask everybody that comes on the show, your top 3 people, no particular order, man, past or present. Who would you like to get a chance to roll with?
Well, that's a great question. That's a good question. Man, I'm trying to think. That's a great question. I mean, of course, the first thing you go to that comes to mind is you want to roll with the top guys in the world. So, let's get in a roll with like some of the guys at B team, some of the guys that I've looked up to, during my jiu-jitsu career, like Nicky Rod or Craig Jones, Nicky Ryan, Gordon Ryan. Of course, those guys would come to mind. Man, that's really difficult. I'd say I would like to, man, from any time period, I would like to roll with myself as a black belt now. Like if I could look into the future of myself at that, that higher level, I would love to roll with that guy. I feel like that would be really cool to kind of see how far I can get and, where my body is at that point, that kind of thing. So I'd say myself in the future, when I'm at my highest level, I would take a current guy, probably Nicky Rod. I'd want to roll with him. And then you got to throw in John Danaher as well.
Oh,
just to get a chance to train with him, kind of pick his brain, that kind of thing. That would probably be my 3.
That's a very interesting. Like no one ever said like their future self or like, or even your past self, because we were having like this little event at the gym. We was like to watch like the UFC fights, and we had put on some of our old videos, and we're watching ourselves as white and blue belts, and I was watching this. We was watching this one when I was the uki for my instructor. I was a white belt. We're doing arm bars, and he went for the arm bar, and I tapped so fast. And so I got mad at myself. I'm like, you tapped to that? Like, oh my God, you suck.
How far you come. I was thinking about that. When you asked me the question, I was thinking about, I would love to roll myself on like day one and see how far I've came already. But like, I've watched that guy. Like that that's not even an interesting role, I feel.
Right. Yeah. I would love to, I know I got some, and my instructor got some, but like, yeah, just go back and watch some of the videos of my first rolls versus now. Cause I know they're probably like, destruction and chaos on the mats versus how calm I roll now. So
yeah, for real, man. It's cool to see yourself get better like that. Actually, my first tournament, one of the guys I went 0-2 at against that day, I faced him again probably 8 months or so after that tournament. And it was a completely different match. Like he dominated me from the get-go in the first match. He took me down got on top of me, was able to get mount, ended up getting side mount, taking my back, and then choking me from there. And my second match against him, he ended up finishing me, but it went completely different. Like when we were up on the feet, I was doing a lot better grip fighting against him. He wasn't able to take me down. I actually ended up getting the takedown. I got in the half guard. I passed his guard. And then he ended up finishing me with a really nice Kimura sweep, and then he finished the Kimura, which was sick. But it was cool, just like, getting the chance to face him in the beginning, progress a bit, and then face him again and see where my game, see how my game's evolved and progressed. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. And I got a chance to my second tournament, this guy, his name is Christopher Fisher. Amazing guy, amazing grappler. And the last two tournaments I was at, I had, me and him faced off. He still beat me, but yeah, like you said, like, you get to see the progression that you've made from the first time you faced someone versus, now. And I was just excited. I was just happy with that. Like, yeah, I lost, but it's like, yeah, I lost. The time was longer than last time. So yeah. I survived a little bit longer than last time. Like I still got beat, but it took them longer. So
it's those little wins, man. It's really those little wins.
You gotta love those tiny victories, man, because they really, help you and put things in perspective when it comes to jiu-jitsu. Because you get those people that's like, every class is getting tapped. Like, man, I can't get a submission. I can't get this. I can't get that. And it's like, well, that's going to happen. That's a part of the game. No one has an undefeated streak in jiu-jitsu, I don't think.
Yep.
And, you learn from your mistakes. You learn more from your losses than your victories in jiu-jitsu.
For sure.
So
for sure. That's why that first tournament where I went 0-4 is my favorite one, probably. Because you learn way more from the losses than you do going out and smashing somebody and getting a quick win. You learn a lot more about where you're at as a jiu-jitsu practitioner, as well as a human, in dealing with loss and dealing with adversity, dealing with less than desirable situations, and then getting better from them.
Definitely. Yeah. So like I commend everybody who that does tournaments as frequently as they do. I encourage people who thinking about doing tournaments. I'm like, don't go in thinking that you're going to just, smash everybody and, just come home with a dub on your first go out. You may, depending, but, 9 times out of 10, you may not. Yep. But, just take those experiences that you get from from those tournaments and, just grow and get better.
Yep. And one thing to kind of answer a previous question that you asked, like, why I like my gym. We don't put a whole bunch of pressure on winning and losing and on the other guy. We really don't focus on it. Whenever we're talking about competition and our matches or whatever, we're talking about our game plan. Figure out, you can only control what you can control. I can't worry about my opponents. I can't worry about what they have going on or what they're going to do or whatever. I can only perfect my own game plan. So really just, I feel like focusing on that rather than, when somebody goes to a tournament and they expect to win or they might get discouraged when they don't win. I don't know. It just kind of, I'm not really sure what I'm trying to say, but I feel like it just kind of puts you into a perspective where you have to work on your own game. You have to worry about yourself. You can't worry about anybody else.
Yeah. I was in the boat with you. I was in that boat with you. I got what you were going. Yeah. And that's a good philosophy to have, because that's the same thing that we talk to our students about. Because I've read stories on Reddit where schools like, oh yeah, it's in the contract that you have to compete at least once or twice a year. No matter what your belt, your coach can just sign you up for a tournament. You got to do it, and blah blah blah. And so what I tell my students is, like, even in class, I'm like, you go at your own pace. I'm not expecting you to roll after class. You don't have to. You're not, it's not going to be frowned against you. But at the same time, if you do want to progress in jiu-jitsu, you kind of have to get out there and do it. Not saying you have to go and roll hard with everybody, you can be like, okay, hey, I just want to flow roll, or I just want to kind of see where I'm at. You have the option to do whatever you want. You have the option to roll with whoever you want. You don't have to be like, if the biggest guy call you out and be like, hey, let's roll. You don't have to.
Yep.
We have a guy. I love him like a brother. He's a purple belt. He's very strong. He's a wrestler. He's like, come on, let's roll. I'm like, not today. I'm like, no, not today. He's like, come on, man. I'm like, no, not this. Like, I'll roll with him every now and then, but like, I'm like, nah, man. I'm still recovering, man. I'm still, nah. Give me a couple. No.
Gotta be smart about it.
Gotta be smart, man. You like Chris Carpenter said, man. You know, doing jiu-jitsu for so long, your body only got so many rolls left, man. You don't want to just waste them on someone that's going to hurt you.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's very important. And also it's important knowing that every roll is an ADCC gold medal match. You know what I mean? When you're in the gym, you're just playing around, man. You're playing with your game. Have fun. And a thing I like as well in my gym is we work out of bad positions very frequently. Like we'll start on somebody's back, or we'll start in being mounted or that kind of thing. Damn, I lost my train of thought again. It's a rough one, but yeah, I completely lost my train of thought. So dropping your ego off at the door, knowing that you're going to lose that day, and being able to work positions that you're not so favorable. Every role doesn't have to be an ADCC gold medal match where, when you're in the role, and I do this frequently where, I'm a heavy guy, I weigh, 270 at this point, and I'll roll with guys who are, 150, 170. And if I'm on top and I'm smashing them and I have them in side control and I'm keeping them there and they're not getting out, there will be a time in a roll where I'll grab them and I'll pull them on top. I'll do kind of a reverse sweep and I'll put them on top. Let me get on bottom and let's work from there. Mm-hmm. I really don't. You can't really care about wins and losses in the gym. Obviously, we all do. It's part of the ego, but you really can't worry about wins and losses in the gym. Get comfortable putting yourself in bad positions and working out from there, having fun. Every role isn't a gold medal match. Right. Just understanding that and being able to play jiu-jitsu, I feel like it was a big thing that changed my whole kind of perspective on jiu-jitsu. And what made it a lot more fun.
I tell people all the time, like, you get a tap in training, you're not getting a medal. You're not getting a trophy.
Right.
So don't feel like you have to do that every single time. Like, no, you're getting a, hey, congratulations, high five. All right, get back to work type deal.
And a lot more times I feel like you learn a lot more getting tapped than you do tapping somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, so true.
You're learning a little bit about your defense and where the holes are, and you're learning how that guy got you and what made it so strong. It's it's the fun of it, man. It's always a learning process.
Because I will roll with anybody, no matter what the rank is, and I'm at that type where it's like I don't care about winning, I don't care about getting a tap. I just want to have fun. If you tap me, I'm not ashamed to say, oh yeah, I was rolling with Chris. Chris called me in the XYZ and blah blah blah. And the first thing that people say is, "Oh, what's his rank?" Like, okay, yeah, he's a white belt. So what?
Jiu-jitsu works.
Like jiu-jitsu works. That's all. That's the main part about it. Like jiu-jitsu works.
Jiu-jitsu works.
Yeah, that's just me.
Yeah, and then it's exciting for both parties as well. You have a lower belt that submits a higher belt, and they have that surge of dopamine where they're super excited about themselves, and then you have the other side where the upper belt's getting tapped by a lower belt, and now he's like, all right, like boom, he got me with that Americana. All right, that's not happening next time. We're gonna figure that out.
Right. That just shows what I need to work. I still need to work on stuff.
Yep, for sure.
All right, Chris, man, I got some rapid fire questions for you, man. Don't just give it too much thought, man. Just a little either or type deal. I'm gonna go run through a little bit real quick before we end it. You ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, man. Ankle pick or duck under?
Oh, duck under.
Guard retention or guard passing?
Guard passing.
Gym loyalty or cross training?
Cross training.
Yeah, I like cross training too.
A little both though. I mean, big on gym loyalty, but you can step out a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
You can cheat on the gym.
Wrist locks or toe holds?
Toe holds.
Screw wrist lockers.
Yeah. I'm not there yet.
Right. That's the only reason I hate, because I'm not there yet.
For real.
Kimura grip or guillotine grip?
Kimura grip.
Yeah, I like Kimura grip.
You hit it from anywhere.
Everywhere.
Not that I can, but you can.
You'll get there. You'll get
but
there.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Jiu-Jitsu DVDs or online tutorials?
Online tutorials. I don't even have a DVD player. I don't even know what to do with a DVD anymore.
Leg lock game or upper body submissions?
I have to say upper body submissions because I'm a white belt. That's my main game. I mean, I have some leg locks, but that's like deep water for me.
It's a very top heavy game.
Yeah, very top heavy game.
Judo or wrestling for takedowns?
Ooh, man, that's good. I love both of them a lot. I say judo just for the style points because judo takedowns just look good. You can't beat a good throw, a good hip toss.
No, you can't
beat that. You lift somebody up. You lift somebody up off the ground. They hit the mat pretty hard, especially in a competition. I hit a hip toss in my last competition against a dude he was probably like 6'2", 6'3", and I'm only like 5'9".
You were right under him.
Oh, right under him.
Oh.
That felt good, man. It felt good too because I'm 270, I'm 5'9". I'm not in the best of shape. I'm pretty stocky. And the guy I went against was in pretty good shape. He was a police officer. Like I said, he was probably 6'2", 6'3", and by the eye test, if you were just to look at me and him, I shouldn't have been able to beat him. But I lifted him up and threw him, which was fun. So yeah, I go judo.
I like a good judo throw, man, but something about wrestling takedowns are just
satisfying.
Yeah, it's so satisfying.
Good double leg, man. A good double leg, there's nothing like it.
Quick little duck under, man. Yeah. Let's do a couple more. Let's see. Arm drags or snap down?
Arm drag. Get to the back.
Yeah, I like snap down for that front face lock.
Yeah, which I like a snap down a lot more in the gi than I do in no gi. But either way, it's all good. Yeah.
Let's see what we say on this one. Double leg or single leg takedowns?
Double leg. Pick them up, throw them through the mat. Just double leg. Take it for a ride.
Let's see.
Scoop City.
I know, right? Just go and scoop them up out of here. Scoop them on out of here. Man. All right. Let's sparring with higher belts or lower belts.
Higher belts, always.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got.
That was kind of a. Yeah, that was kind of a dumb question.
No, not at all. Not at all. There's people with ego out there that only wants to go against people that are worse than them.
True. Yeah. That's true. That's definitely true. One more. Gym culture or individual mindset?
Gym culture, for sure. I feel like that shapes the individual mindset.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that.
Definitely have to agree with that. Gym culture, for sure.
All right, Chris, man, if you got any questions for me, man, please fire away. If not, man, let the people know what you got coming up. Shout out your school, man, and whatever else, man. The floor is all yours.
Yeah, man. I'm actually gonna run out and grab my rash guard really quick. I got Absolute Rash Guards. It's kind of a project that I've been working on over the last year. It's my jiu-jitsu rash guard company. I just launched it a couple months ago.
Congratulations.
We're still thank you, man. Thank you. I'm really excited about it. I'm gonna grab one and just kind of show it to you.
Yep.
Other than that, man, I was supposed to go up to New York next month for a competition. One of my best friends lives up in New York. He's a blue belt up there. So I was going to go up to New York next month for a competition, but I don't think I'm going to end up making it happen. So besides that, I think I have my next one in February, which is pretty local here. But this here is the Absolute Rash Guard. I have it in black with white text, and then I also have it in white with black text. Says Absolute BJJ up the sleeve. And the biggest thing I like about my rash guards is the quality of them. And I know everyone's going to say that, but I've tried 3 different manufacturers with rash guards, and this was the first one that I really liked. It's 85% polyester, 15% spandex. And the biggest thing that I really like about this is it has an elastic band around the bottom of it that really keeps it in place. So being a heavy guy with a big old belly, when I roll, I hate when my rash guard comes up, my belly's showing, my back's showing. It's just, you don't want to be that guy. I only buy rash guards with the strap on the bottom. And so that was my biggest selling point with these. And I roll with it a handful of times. I've washed it a handful of times. There's no pilling. There's no decoloration in the rash guard. So it's something I'm very, very proud of. Absolute-BJJs.com is the website. I got an Instagram up, got a TikTok up as well. So that's just kind of the project I've been working on. Other than that, man, just getting better. My coach said I'm probably a handful of months away from getting my blue belt. Just got to keep coming. Thank you, man. Thank you. It's been a lot of work. And another thing, going back to the whole chart situation with my school, the cool part about knowing where you're at is, whenever you're talking to your coach or whenever there's a question of, oh, am I close to my belt or am I close to, whatever, he just, well, where are you at in the chart? Do you know your chart? Do you know everything on there? Once you know everything on there.
Oh.
Can you hear
I can
me
see
now?
you can't. Yeah, there we go.
All right, there we go. Sorry, I was getting a call. Man. And just knowing where you're at on the chart, and just kind of know where you're at in your game is it's been awesome.
Yeah.
So sorry about those calls there.
Oh no, you're good. Ain't nothing like a good rash guard, man. I am slowly started to man.
Yeah, I'm getting blown up over here.
I see.
Man, I'm sorry about that.
No, you're good. You're good.
All right, boom.
Yeah, so I'm starting to get into that Danaher phase where all I want to do is wear rash guards. So I think I got more rash guards than clothes now.
Man, it's like that.
They're so comfortable. They're versatile, man. It's just they no one will understand. It's like jogging pants. Like rash guards are like the new jogging pants.
Yeah, for real.
Very, very
especially as a bigger guy, you wear a nice rash guard, it snatches you up a little bit.
Right?
It snatches you up a little bit. Hey, girls got bodysuits, man. They got the little waist trainers. We got rash guards.
We got rash guards.
That's it, man.
Oh man, but yeah, dude, I would love to have you back. Excuse me, have you back, man. Once you get your blue belt, man, we can definitely talk about that. Definitely hope your rash guard company blows up, man. We'll have links to all that stuff too, so you guys can check them out. So
thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Like I said, man, I appreciate you coming on the show. I was so excited to finally get people on because a couple of the other groups that I was trying to, I guess you want to say recruit guests, I either got blocked or they would just deny the post.
Yeah.
So, I got a flood of people coming in for support and want to do the show. So I'm very, very excited to get back at it. But yeah, man, down the line, man, definitely will welcome to have you back to talk about your blue belt and everything else is going on with you.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. Good luck with the podcast. Good luck with the school. Just good luck with everything, man. I hope you succeed in everything that you're looking at, setting out to do.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Yeah,
all right, that's it for today's episode. I would like to thank Chris one more time for coming on the show and blessing us with his jiu-jitsu knowledge. I hope you guys enjoyed, man. Learn from our experiences. Please go and follow our Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube page to stay up to date on all future episodes. This has been Talk Your Jits podcast. Keep rolling, keep grinding, and remember, long live jiu-jitsu. Have a great day.